So, hey guys, Chauso here. So, it was confirmed in the data download today that the upcoming Garp reset on the 9th of February will be the debut of Garp Challenge Enel. So Global decided to swap Enel a month 2. Enel was originally debuting together with the Halloween batch, but obviously it got swapped for the VCI. So they decided to swap the Garp challenges too. So we're getting Garp Challenge Enel a month early. This means that next month we'll be back on the original schedule before Enel was released. So no Enel next month unless they do some big change. They've never changed Garp challenges before between Global and JP. So that will be a first. But if we follow JP's schedule, next month no NL, and then the months after that we get all 4 Garp challenges until Navy, where it's just Navy, NL, and Whitebeard, I think. So that's the Garp schedule. So yeah, I just want to begin by saying that I've seen some posts on Reddit and other places that this is some kind of global shaft, but yeah, I obviously don't think that. Like, it's a shame because everybody wants scams, of course. But logically, we were getting this eventually, and it sucks. It's just like 36 scams. It sucks, of course, but we were getting it sometime, and if it happened next month, it will be, oh no, right before versus Big Mom and Kaido releases Global Shaft, and now it's right before any Global Shaft, and it just sucks. It's no shaft. That's all I wanted to say. But okay, in this video I just wanted to give you some options you can use when team building. I'll be trying to make teams for each color as fast as possible after release. So look forward to that. I'll try and keep it free to play focused, or rather accessibility focused. But yeah, but my options here are mostly units you can use against the final stage. And for those who don't know, the final stage of this Garp challenge uses some very obscure mechanics. Firstly, it applies stun to your captains it applies stun. And you can only remove stun in 3 ways. First, you get attacked by the enemy, then it's removed for next turn. Second, you take self damage by using a special or such. And third, you use a special that removes stun, and there's only one special that does that so far, and it's Treasure Map Namisanji. So yeah, and moving on, they also apply what is called Fear together with Special Bind for 3 turns. And for those of you who don't know what Fear is, it's also called Sailor Despair. It means your sailor abilities get disabled, which is a big deal because special bind removers rely on their sailor ability to reduce special bind. And unless they have the limit break ability to reduce fear, they can't get their sailor ability to reduce special bind and then use their special to remove it for everyone. And there's no way to work around that for this. Like, you can't use a support for that, because the Garp Challenge Enel has special bind a bit all over the place, so it gets proc before that. So yeah, your options are either you have 3 options to deal with it. First, you ignore it, but then you can't use any specials. Secondly, you can use a unit who both have the fear reducing limit break ability and special bind removal special. Or you can use a captain who resists special bind. And then there's a 4th option, of course. You can try and use a special bind reducing swap. I'll get to that. But okay, with that out of the way, we have a lot to deal with final stage. So we'll go through it color by color, starting with strength. And first I start by saying that strength is probably the color that struggles most with this, at least special bind removal. there's only one strength unit that has the combo of fear reduction and special bind removal, and it's this Stampy Buggy if he's limit break expanded. I highly recommend you do it. He's a really good unit, and he's not essential for this Garp challenge, but one of the best options for sure. If you don't want to use Buggy, your option is to try and ignore the Sailor or the Fear and not use any specials. And there is a decent combo you can use for that. You can use our V2 Snake Man team, who has the super type that can give you an attack boost final stage. And you can combine that with a unit like this Owen, for example, who gives an ore boost for multiple stages. So you can set it up so that on the final stage you have Owen's ore boost, you use a V2 Snake Man for attack boost, and you try to go into final stage with as many beneficial orbs as possible. And yeah, that should be enough. So that is one other option you can use. So then we have the stun left, and yeah, I'll have this putting support on all teams as an option. She cuts your own HP by 20% when you get to the final stage, so she instantly removes the stun by herself, which is why you often see Sanji's used for this content. And here we have one potential Sanji you can use, and also gives an ore boost, so that's nice. Just one option. And of course you can also cut your own HP with a special. And Mark on Ace is a good option. You get 2.75 times attack boost as well, so that's solid. But obviously to use them you have to remove the special bind, so you have to use the Buggy as well then. So you need these two on the same team for that combination. Okay, moving on. Decks. And I put Kaido here since people love to use Kaido for decks, and yeah, you can use Kaido for this too. Just a few things to have in mind with that. First, we have this Nami and Sanji, who is the GOAT for this Garp challenge. They can deal with everything. I hope you have Limit Break expanded them, and if you haven't, I urge you to do it for this. Yeah, they reduce the fear by 5 turns, and then reduce special bind in their special. And they also remove stun, so you don't have to bring Pudding or anything with them. I don't know why I put Pudding here, but as said, she's not needed if you bring this Nami and Sanji unit. They remove everything with their special. And another nice thing if you want to run them with Kaido is that Nami herself is a striker, so she gets buffed by Kaido, but the ore boost in their special is only for fighter and free spirit. So if you want to use them with Kaido, you have to try and build a team with units that are either striker or powerhouse and fighter or free spirit, because then they get the buff from Kaido's captain ability, and they get the buff from Nami and Sanji's ore boost. But you can also just not use Nami and Sanji. You can try and use, say, a combination of this Yoso. He also has Limit Break Expanded for fear. And he also has a special to remove special bind. So he can deal with the special bind. And then you can use a self-damaging unit like Enel, who also gives an attack buff for Dex. So these two, together with Kaido, should also make life pretty simple. And I put Ace here just to show that there are more options you can use. Like this Ace does self-damage, double shoot the character's attack. And if you have, say, this Nami and Sanji, Ace is also free spirit, so he gets the free spirit buff. So that's a combination. But of course, Nami and Sanji removes stun, so don't need no Ace in that case. But yeah, just thinking out loud. But yeah, as you see, Dex has some nice options you can use. Moving on to Quick. And we have Shanks Crew here, who is also amazing for this, since his captain ability reduces special bind by 10 turns. So if you use Shanks Crew as a captain, you can just ignore the fear and special bind and everything. If you want to use a crewmate to remove it, your best option is this Karasu. He also has fear, limit break expansion, and his special removes special bind by 5 turns. So that works. As always, you can also use pudding support. And as an example unit, I use this Soren Sanji, which is obviously a great unit. Can give a massive attack buff depending on your HP. But of course, you can also take self-damage to remove the stun. And I've given 2 example units here. First, Shiki. Cuts HP by 99%, but the HP you've lost, you deal back in damage. And you also get a full board of RCV orbs. So that's pretty good, dope. And we have this Eva, who I'd only use if you wanted to build like a smoker team or something. But yeah, he cuts your HP by 1%. So that's very nice. You just have to watch out for the halving of Crew's attack by 10 turns. So yeah, if you don't use smoker, you can only use him for the final stage, basically. But yeah, quick is fine. You just need Change Crew really, and something to do self-damage on the last stage. Moving on to Sai, and we have some of the greatest hits here. Change Crew again, same as with Quick. Captain ability, reduce special bind, so that's covered. So if you run Change Crew, you just need something to deal with the stun. So you can use a unit like Hold'em. He reduces your HP by 1%. Sadly, just gives a chain lock, which is kind of useless with Change Crew, but yeah, he's an option for self-damage. And you can use Pudding, and I put a radio here just to remind you that Pudding attaches to both Radio and Sanji. I don't think this Radio is particularly good, but yeah, just to remind you that Radio is also an option. Of course, you can also remove stun with Nami and Sanji, and they also have the fear reduction, so you aren't forced to use Change Crew either then. You can just use Nami and Sanji and whatever captain you want. Stampede Luffy is probably a solid option, for example. And finally, we also have this Rebecca, who also has fear resistance, limit break ability. And she also reduces special bind by 7 turns and gives a type effect boost. So very solid unit for this. Finally, Int, who also suffers in options a bit, but they do have Halloween Ace. He's like Change Crew, reduces Crew's special bind by 10 turns, so he deals with that. If you don't want to use Halloween Ace, you can also use this limited Nami unit. She also has fear resistance, limit break ability, and reduces special bind by 3 turns, and that's all you need. Alternatively, you can try and use swaps to get by the special bind, like this Whitebeard Marco. Shirahoshi and Manchuri also does that. You need to stall a bit then. I have not checked how feasible that is. I've heard you can do it, but I have not looked into it. You can also try and run, say, double Varco and Shirahoshi Manchuri. That gives you 3 swaps to remove special bind, so that handles that. I will definitely try and make a team like that. It sounds pretty dumb, but totally up my alley. So yeah, those are your special bind removing options. Moving on to self-damage, again we have Pudding. And this Sanji is a good unit to run with her. You get some healing, special charge reduction, and some color affinity. I really like this Sanji unit, it's really good. Finally, you can use a unit like Capone. He reduces your HP by 85% and also double shooter character's attack. So if you run, say, Halloween Ace as captain, you can have this Capone as a sub and you're done for final stage. And then you can use your own Ace special on an earlier turn and save Capone special for final stage, for example. So yeah, these are some of the options you can use. I hope this wit was helpful for you. But I'll be back for release. I'll try and build teams for every color beforehand and just rush to get them uploaded. And I'll focus on making as accessible teams as possible, I think. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.